Hi and welcome to Family Camp Tents YouTube channel and site. Today I have a really specific question that I want to answer. This is a real question from one of my readers. It came in the contact through the contact form, and it was how to choose a family beach tent. Actually, I can show you. This is the message that I received. I'm not sure if you can read it. This is my post in the site. So the person who was asking had really specific questions within in this message, 5 of them, and they are all actually very good questions. And the person shows that he, for example, in the first question, that he is very realistic. He says family of 4, but he wants 2 to 3 rooms and probably looking at least at a 10-person tent. So I really, from this, I realize how realistic this person is, because the capacity of family camp or tents in general, especially in the on the US market, is determined by the number of sleeping pads that you can put on the floor. In Europe, it's a bit different. Even in Europe, the sleeping area capacity is determined by the number of sleeping pads on the floor. But in Europe, many tents, most of them actually, have a large living room, which is fully sealed and fully protected, and you can sleep there as well. This is not so typically on the American market, and this is why this person speaks about a 10-person tent for a family of 4. Because when you have place for 4 sleeping pads on the floor, then you have quite a lot of extra space for your day activities, to store your gear and so on. So I gave one example here in after responding to the email. I made this post to make this answer even better, and gave this example, which is Coleman Rocky Mountain 5 Plus tent. So this tent actually has an inner tent with 2 separate sleeping rooms, and it has a living room here. This is what is typical on European market, but it's not so frequent in the tents in the US. Then if you have children that are not so small, perhaps you want to have sleeping areas completely physically separated. And for this, I gave this excellent example, which is Big Agnes Wyoming Trail 4-person tent. Here you have a shell tent, which is a massive fly that covers the inner, and you have 2 separate inner tents on the 2 sides. The area in between is not floored, but you have 2 doors here, you have awnings, so a lot of space for sitting during the day, for cooking, and to organize your life in the camp. And the privacy is the best possible that you can have in a tent. You can even leave this one of these inner tent at home if you go, for example, only with your wife or your partner, and then you have much larger living area and sleeping area in the inner tent that you carry with you. I stress here awnings, vestibules, and doors, because if this is a family, you will want to have 2 doors, let's say, preferably. If you have a full coverage fly and you don't want to use 1 door, then you will have probably a vestibule in front of this door, so you can use it as a storage area, which is very useful, and use then only 1 door to get in and out. But having awnings is really a great thing. I was in the official camps just a few weeks ago in the Dolomites, and I was using my Snow Peak Alpha Breeze tent, which is a 5-person tent, and I was using it as a solo tent in official camps. When I was in the mountains, I had two separate tents for different situations, but in the camps I used that tent, and it has awnings, awning configuration on one side. It has a huge vestibule on the other side, so plenty of space to for privacy. For example, I had real awning poles, so I can put them in such a way that I have some privacy, because it is a camp with people around, and sometimes you want to cook, to sit, to enjoy, and so on, and you will just position this awning so that you can have extra privacy without closing the tent completely. Freestanding or not, the person mentioned freestanding. Now, having a freestanding tent is useful. For example, if you expect that you would move the tent from one place to another in the same area, you can move it complete as it is. I have several tents of this type, so even when the fly on is on, you just remove stakes and you can carry it shorter distances in the camp, rotate, and then secure to the ground there. But if you move from one place to another by car, then this freestanding feature is not really so important. In this case, you would rather have instant setup tent, for example, or I mentioned this here, or tent with fast pitch design. I have separate lists and separate text about these features here in the site, so I suggest that you follow the link below this video and come here and read this text in detail. There is also yet another feature which is very useful to have, and this is dark rest design, especially if you have kids with you and you know that they will have to sleep during the day. Even adults allowed to sleep during the day. For example, my Snow Peak Alpha Breeze that I mentioned is actually ivory color, and this is not a great option in a direct sunlight. So in the camp, I always tried to put it somewhere underneath some trees. But then, of course, you have a lot of needles from the trees falling down, and when it is wet, this is a problem. But as soon as it gets dry, all these needles just fall off. So having dark rest is again a feature that you would want to have, and actually the mentioned Coleman tent here is one of these. So the inner area is actually a dark rest design, and with Coleman, this is in most of their tents is that they block 99% of daylight. So when you close it, it's completely dark inside. Ventilation, I cannot stress enough how important this is. Again, from my own experience and very recent experience, my own tent has 4 doors, Snow Peak Alpha Breeze. It's here presented in the site. It has 4 doors. Of course, I don't need 4 doors, but all of them are double layer, which means I have mesh and, of course, fly panels. And I can have as much ventilation as I want, but it has also low vents and roof vents, everything that you need in a tent. When it is hot, you need all this stuff. So this is all I wanted to say about this topic here. This was actually answering a question from a reader, and I made a separate post thinking that this could hopefully be useful for other readers as well, and this is why I'm presenting it here. Please follow the link below the video, subscribe to my channel, give me a like if you find this presentation useful, and see you next time.